Thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Drop. I'm your host, Myron. Today, I'm on my ice cube. It was a good day. I got some miles in, did some cycling today, went to a couple of the forums, the local forums on Facebook that I'm in, and I saw this bottle pop up a couple times. And I was kind of like, man, they made it to Maryland. So went out to a couple stores. First store didn't have it. Second store had about 6, 7 deep on the shelf. Let's get it.
Bottle drop, bottle drop, bottle drop.
To let this thing air out a little bit. I wanted to get that little bit of bourbon that's in the neck out of it. So earlier today, just took a slight little sip of it just to kind of, get that bourbon out of the neck. And then I wanted to pour this and get it in a glass just so that this could open up and I give it a fair chance. So we're going to get this thing off to the side. Now, if you don't know by now, I'm always talking about Gold Label Jack. Gold Label Jack is just ridiculous. For the value that you get for the, it's just, man, 125, I think, proof all the way up to like 145 proof, something like that. So the proof is there. The way they do the heat cycle warehouses at Brown-Forman, man, it adds extra flavors to the bottle itself. Regular Jack, I am not a big fan of the charcoal filtering. But in this Gold Label Jack, it is just something special. And that charcoal filtering or charcoal mellowing that they do for Tennessee whiskey, it takes a lot of the heat off of the higher proof bourbons. I haven't had a Jack to knock me on my behind yet when it comes to proof. It's something about that charcoal filtering that just does it. This rye right here, I was not a big fan of. If you're wondering why they're all flipped up, it's because I was today years old when I realized that these chains are barrels. I just thought that they were, like a cool little neck tag and didn't even realize what shape they were. And then when I flipped them up, I was like, oh, that's a barrel. That's pretty cool. But anyway, we'll get into the Jack Daniel's rye because I'm glad to have it. Finally got my hands on it. I remember seeing the press when it came out that they were going to be on the shelf every day, and I was like, oh my gosh. I said, if that is on the shelf every day and it is just as good as the Gold Label Jack, they got a fan for life. Let's get into the nose. Pink bubblegum. That's why I like Jack, the regular Jack Daniel's rye. Now, it can be a little sharp on the end. I can't remember what the proof is. I think it's like 80 proof, maybe a touch higher than that. I can't remember. This right here, this one came in at 94 proof, I think it was. So yeah, 94 proof. But this one has that pink bubblegum note in the nose as well. They do have a touch of banana on them too, but I don't get it in this single barrel like I do the regular Jack Daniel's rye. Let's get back into the nose. So I get a little bit of oak. I get that pink bubblegum note. Man, that is a nice note to have. I get a little bit of grassiness. It's almost like a lemongrass. That's pretty much it. Oh, a little bit of char just popped up. Let's get into the palate. Wow. Oh, wow. That's maple syrup, brown sugar, a touch of that pink bubblegum note transfers over to the palate. You get like this minty rye, like just that minty rye note. You get a little bit of a grassy note, but it's not bad at all. But that's really good, man. Look, it comes in This particular single barrel anyway comes in at 126.5 proof. This is the second highest rye on my bar. And I'm not counting the Franklin County Distillery's 141 proof rye, because we're gonna kick that one out. But I have the Knob Creek rye, and it is it's one of their limited edition ones, but we'll get into that because I want to put those together at the end. But let's get back into the nose one more time. Not much. I'm not picking up that pink bubblegum note as much. It's crazy because normally after the first sip, I'll pick it up all day long, but it kind of subsided a little bit. More of that lemongrass, that rye nose, that lemony, minty, like a little bit of earthy and grassiness. I am getting a sweet note. It's more along the lines of like a vanilla. So I'm not picking that pink bubblegum up anymore. Let's go back into the palate one more time. My one knock, it seems like it's not as viscous as I would like it to be. It's good. It's really good. All of those notes stayed. That mintiness, some of that lemongrass note, like I said, a little bit of that pink bubble gum does transfer over to the palate. It's got that same Jack char in the back that this has. Now, for whatever reason, in the regular old number 7, maybe because it's young, it doesn't do it for me. That note turns me off. But the char in these on the back, oh my gosh, it's got a really nice like a sweet, almost like a sweet brown sugar. That vanilla kind of transfers to the palate. We'll go back in one more time. Yeah, that rye, a little bit of that grass, man, that's good. That's really good. I've got to put this side by side, and this is the other rye that I was talking about. This is the Knob Creek rye. This is a limited edition. This was barreled in 2010. It is 127 proof. This is Warehouse A, 63.5 ABV. And I mean, what two better producers to put against each other than Jack Daniels and Jim Beam? So this is the Knob Creek rye. This is the Jack Daniels rye. Let me get a Glen. We'll pour these up. I've got to get, because I remember this thing being heavy on that like lemongrass, lemony note. But it had some really rich, savory notes, really rich brown sugar. So if memory serves me correctly, this might win out because of the viscosity and because of those rich brown sugar notes. Let's get a little bit more of the Jack in a glass. All right, Knob Creek first. I'm getting like a sweet flower almost. That's kind of weird. I remember this thing being just straight lemons. Like a sweet flower and oak. Let's go into the palate. All of that lemon, man, all of that lemon is on the palate. It's got a cinnamon note. It's got a heavy lemon note. It's got a nice clove note. It's almost got like that same cinnamon clove note that I pick up in some of the Booker's and some of the Baker's products. That is really good. That's really good. Let's go back into the nose. Now more of the lemon comes out. Now it's going to be interesting to see what this Jack does, because most of the time if I go from something else to a Brown-Forman product, the banana smacks me in the face. So let's see if that pink bubblegum note smacks me in the face. Nope. Actually, it's more of the maple syrup note smacks me in the face. It's heavy on the maple syrup now after coming off the Knob Creek. Wow. That's tough. That's tough. That Jack, actually some of the banana note has started to come out, and that pink bubblegum note. I just, man, this is a tough one. I'm gonna have to say that they are a tie. I can't say that one is better than the other. They are both very good. My only knock on the Jack was the viscosity, but it actually didn't come across as thin against the Knob Creek as I thought it was gonna come across. So look, I wanna get into the breakdown now. Let me get these glasses out of the way and we'll get into the breakdown. Now, is this worth the chase? I know that it is on the shelf now, but it's not on the shelf everywhere. It will eventually be everywhere. But I am saying yes, it is worth the chase. If you can run out and get these, I keep these on hand. I mean, look, I was looking at Stuff and Whiskey the other day, some of their videos, and they hit the nail on the head when they said anything in a square bottle is pretty much a buy. And that is so true, man, because I keep this on deck. The single barrels, not so much. This is a graham cracker filled, I mean, it is just graham crackers, bananas all day long. This one was a little bit of a miss for me. But anyway, back to the Jack. I say it's worth the chase. Is it worth over retail? If they want to charge $5 or $10 over retail, if you're in a place where it's hard to get these and they have it $10, $20 over retail, I think it's worth it. I do. I really think it's worth it. $5 or $10 over retail, I would pay that all day. I wouldn't go higher than that because once they start flooding the shelves, you're going to be able to get them a little cheaper. So, just calm down a little bit. $95 would be a lot. Now, I paid $75. That's what it was on the shelf for. I'm assuming that it's retail. I thought, because the normal Jacks go for $70. So for this to be $75 makes sense. RYEs are normally a little higher by a few bucks. So $75 did seem reasonable. $95, that is a bit of a stretch, but I would say that it is worth it up to the $95. Would I give it to a newbie? Come on, man. Come on. 126.5 proof? No. I am not giving that to a new bourbon drinker. Now, someone who is new in the game, who does have some experience dibbling and dabbling in higher proof whiskeys, yes. But someone just brand new to bourbon, no, not at all. I would probably start them off on something like this, and if they felt like that was bland, then I would say, hey, maybe take this and put a few drops of water in it and then see where it goes. But I am not giving that to a new bourbon drinker. Will it always be on a bar? I don't even have to answer this question. You see how much I have a love for the Gold Label Jack. This is falling right in the same category. And with that being said, let the whiskey flow. Never run out unless you're headed to a drop. Till next time.